Welcome to Inner Beauty Australia. So today we are very excited to present to you a world first treatment. It is the Stemzyme therapy from DMK, and this is different to any other treatment you've ever had because we are focusing on the stem cells that's already in your skin and then creating a different outcome than any other product.
To be able to harvest your own stem cells that is sitting on your skin to start to get reactivated and give you that firmness, the lifting and the tightness of the skin, and also to reverse signs of aging, repair DNA damage, and also be able to repair any reactivity that the skin might have. Okay? So in the last 5 years is when he actually started to do more research to it, and he did some genomic testing to make sure that this treatment works, and we guarantee you it works. Okay, and it's no rejection, because when you're thinking of stem cells, you're thinking of host. Okay, you're thinking of umbilical cord stem cells from babies. No, this is actually making your own stem cells of your skin do what it needs to do. That nobody has actually been able to harvest that. Okay. Just go back so I can change the pressure. Okay. So what I want you to think of, it's a bit high, I can bring it down if you want. I want you to think like the skin is like an old house. Okay? When you start to renovate an old house, you will find that some of the foundation might be not working or not established well anymore, it has moved. Okay? Or if you start to renovate the bathroom, something is not quite right. So you will start to look at the foundation of the house to be able to renovate it. So when we're looking at the foundation of the skin, we're looking at inside the skin to make sure that it's nice and working properly, so the surface actually reflects what the inside is. Okay? So that's what I want you to think. So when you're doing renovations in a house, especially in an old house, it's money that you invest, but you don't actually see it. Yeah? This is an investment that you're actually going to see it, because you will see it on your skin. It will reflect on your skin. Okay? So when we're looking at skin, sorry, my darling, we're looking at different layers of the skin that we're going to be targeting. So the first layer where the hair is just poking out is what you actually feel, and that's what you touch. And then we have that pink section in there that it looks like valleys. That is what is called the epidermal junction. And when that is quite nice and strong and it looks like waves, this is when the skin is actually strong. I'm going to do it in here. So we're looking at in here when the skin is nice and bent, that will give the skin the turgidity and the bounce. As we get older, that bounce starts to get more flat, and that's when the sagging and it starts to appear. Okay? So when we're working on the Stemzyme therapy, we harvesting the stem cells that sit on the bulge apparatus of the hair. So we're not just working on the epidermis, we're actually working on many layers of the skin. So for me to be able to change here, I need to renovate the house on the inside. Does that make sense? So in the skin, we have many stem cells. In here, we got stem cells that is called keratinocytes, and they take about 28 days to come up to the surface, and they go on a cycle. Okay? And they only produce keratinocytes. He has found a way to harvest a little bulge that we have, so think like we have a little incubator of the stem cells that is sitting somewhere on the hair follicle. Okay? So the stem cells that sit on the hair follicle is called the bulge apparatus. When you have an injury to the skin, those stem cells get activated to help you with wound healing. Okay? He's activating them, we're not going through wound healing stages. Okay? And then he's controlling those babies, so he's incubating those babies in there, and he's controlling how those babies, they're going to become stem cells, because the stem cells is a cell that it doesn't have fate, doesn't know what it's going to become. It's like a teenager just coming out of school, and he doesn't know what he's going to become. So he's going to guide the new stem cells that he's replicating, and he's going to guide them to become something on the skin. Your skin will determine what they will become. So if your skin needs more fibroblasts to give you more firmness on the skin, that's what it's going to produce. If your skin is very reactive, it will produce cells that it will help you with the reactivity. Okay? If your skin suffers from damaged melanocytes, pigmentation will rejuvenate those melanocytes to regulate the pigment. Okay? So the treatment doesn't work here, it works in here. And also, as work is working on the epidermis, he's working on the dermis, what is the fibroblast is, he's also working with the adipose tissue that is quite deep, and this is the one that he just touched to your bones, and it's called fascia. And he is able to reposition the fat deposits that sit on the face, because when we age, you know how the fat deposits start to go down. So, if we have a face, when we're young, the fat deposits at the top. This is what it gives you that turgidity at the top here. As we start to age, that fat deposits moves to the bottom, and that becomes thinner, and that's where your face starts to look a little bit more square. Yeah, does that make sense? That's part of aging. Okay. Some people go through this process a lot faster than other ones. It depends on how you look after yourself, medical issues, lifestyle choices, and so on. And eventually, we're all going to become better. So he has found a way to reposition those fat deposits, so he moves them, so this area becomes full up again, and it gives you more of that square look. And you will see them on the pictures. Okay? I'm gonna flick again. So I want to tell you that it's very difficult to have a stem cells on the skin, and for him to be able to do that, he's quite clever. Because as he starts to get the bulges apparatus, so when you have an injury, so say for example a scar tissue or you have a wrinkle, the wrinkle will become this deep. Okay? So for people to just do a removal or exfoliate is not filling up the gap. The gap have to be filled up from inside the skin. Okay, so this is what we're saying is rebuilding the skin from inside out, like renovating a house. You can't renovate the house from the surface, you need to renovate it from the top. So if we have deep wrinkles, your skin eventually will start to fill up that wrinkle, so the wrinkle doesn't look so deep. Okay? So that's what he's doing, and also with this treatment, he's actually working with your nerve receptors and your nerves, because everything that happens on the skin is also activated by the nerves. Okay, so you can see how the hair follicle has lots of nerves in there. Okay, and all your nerve receptors, they come into the epidermis, and we're going to activate them, because as he's waking up these stem cells that are sitting on the Golgi's apparatus, so think like an incubator, we need to keep activating them with nerve endings to be able to get them happening. Okay, so this treatment doesn't really have any downtime. But some of the serums might feel a bit hot and spicy because it's creating a thermogenic effect to stimulate those nerve endings, to stimulate what it needs to be done. Okay? You don't actually feel like you had a treatment. Okay? Some people walk away like they haven't had anything, but on the next 50 days through the treatment process and using the products, that all the renovation is happening internally. Okay? So Esther, my colleague, she just had one, and she's on day 10 of her treatment. So she's on day 10, and she doesn't look like she had a treatment, but she's already telling me that she feels the difference. The skin feels firmer and tighter.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. And she still has another 40 days to go. Okay? I have two. Don't blame her. I have two. And it depends on your age, how many we would recommend, depends on your age group. Okay? Okay, let's go into. And also, the cells in the skin has a very specific way of communicating. And those communication pathways, we need to address them at the same time. Okay? So, in the cells, especially on the stem cells, as we stimulate them, because it's sitting somewhere here, those stem cells have a very way of talking to each other, and we're going to influence. So one cell, that's the stem cell, will go through a process that is called mitosis, and that will take 24 hours. What happens is the cell grows inside, it grows a lot bigger, so it can actually divide. And when it divides, it only happens on 2 hours. So when you have the treatment, we will give you certain serums to use for the next 72 hours. And you're only allowed to use those serums that cleanse and a sunblock, because we're making sure that the cell can actually grow and divide to make 4 more babies. And those 4 babies will create 6 babies. So it's a very strict protocol because we need to control how this baby is going to produce. Then what happens? This doesn't have a fate, so he can produce any cells. He will keep producing any cells. But suddenly he goes, ooh, I'm going to become a particular cell. And that cell will make that particular cell and will continue making the same cell. So it could be a fibroblast. It could be a melanocyte. It could be a Langerhans cell. It could be a nerve ending. It could be anything that the skin needs. So everybody has different results because it depends on what your skin actually needs. And because it's using your own stem cells, it's not rejection, it's not cause rejection. Okay? So our stem cells production is diminished every year by 10% since we hit 10 years.
10 years of age?
Yeah, from 10 years of age, we lose 10% of production of stem cells per year. So this is when your body starts to break down, you start to get more sick, and the body starts to slow down. When we're young, the stem cell production is happening every 24 hours, so it's repairing constantly. Okay? So when you have organ damage, it's because the stem cells of that particular organ cannot produce more cells anymore. Does that make sense? Like liver is probably the only organ that it can actually repair itself. But if you have a stem cell for, I don't know, for a particular heart, and the production of the stem cells is not there, the heart cannot repair itself anymore. And that comes with aging. Okay? So that's literally what it is in a nutshell, but it's a lot of chemistry and science that is going through it, that if I keep talking about the science, you will find it really overwhelming, so I'm trying to just say it in very simple words how it's working. Okay? So it's all about keeping the stem cells bank, because as we keep withdrawing from the bank is going to be empty and you don't have any more money to withdraw. Okay? Does that make sense? It's quite sciencey. I'm trying to break it down. Even when I was teaching it to the therapists, some therapists I went way too sciencey and I went, I can't understand anything.
So you're using the serums, and how long does it last for? Do you have to keep using it to keep them going, or will they just stop naturally?
No, so we because with the treatment, we are going to use products to open the pathway, to swell up the hair follicle. Many of you have alkaline already. Okay, so he's using the alkaline to swell up the hair follicle to actually be able to drive the serums in to start the activation of the stem cells. Okay, so during the treatment you use 3 different serums that are only available on the treatment, and some of those serums is going to stimulate that bank, and it has gonna be hot and spicy. And it's going to start the process. Then the next 3 days, you're only allowed to use 2 serums, and you need to finish them completely. And you need to apply them 3 times during the day to keep that mitosis happening. Then after the 4 days, you're going to 2 new serums for the next remaining of the treatment, that is 48 days.
So after the 48, 50-day period, how often do you have to redo the whole treatment?
Depends on your age group. Okay, so we say that if you're in your 20s or 30s, maybe once a year, 40s, once a year. When we reach 50, twice a year. When you reach 60 plus, 4 times a year. Okay? That's the recommendation, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna have it. But when you see the results, you get addicted to it. I saw the results from the first treatment, and then the second treatment, I went, wow, this is worth it. So it is worth an investment because it's working on skin. And this is what, Danae is mimicking the body's chemistry, and he's just copying it and applying it. Not many brands do that. The other brands, they just keep exfoliating and hoping that the skin is gonna do what it needs to. he's actually making sure that you have, with your product, you got the fuel and the energy that the cells need to make those changes. Okay? So you cannot have one and see the changes on your skin, and I guarantee you will be happy to have a second one afterwards, because you can see it. But some of the changes, they're subtle. Okay, it's not like you're gonna be firm like that, but people will start to say to you, "Oh, what have you done?" So this is great for people who doesn't want to have plastic surgery, they don't have fillers, they don't want to have Botox, they want to age into natural stage. This is what is perfect for. Does that make sense? Okay. So it is certain products that you will use, and you will have enough to use for 50 days plus. Okay. After those 50 days, you maintain it with regular treatments. So that will be once a month or once every 6 weeks. Okay. You can have needling, you can have LED after a month of finishing the treatment, because the babies are still multiplying. We don't want to alter or change anything in there. Yeah, it's like an incubator. And then he's incubating them, and he's going, okay, now the incubator is full, and then he releases the stem cells, and that happens for the next 72 hours. And then they go, okay, I want to become a plumber, I want to become an architect, that would be a fibroblast. A plumber will be, I don't know, a Langerhans cell, and that's going to start to divide, and they keep multiplying. Now the treatment is, you have 5 treatments. The first treatment is the major treatment, okay? And then you have a treatment on day 12, day 24, day 36, and day 48. So what we're trying to do is to manage and control, because the skin renews every 28 days. As we get older, could be 34, could be 50 days, okay? We actually going to 2 complete cell cycles on those 50 days. And we make sure that the babies are staying alive and they're doing what they need to do. If you start to deviate and do other things and put other products, you breaking the purpose of the treatment. So it's a very strict treatment that you need to follow. It's easy to follow though, it's not difficult. Does that make sense? So he has a little book in there that I will try to read, but I'm not really good at reading English.
No, she said 65.
So he says,
I'm 65.
so when the DMK city was born, it was based in Metropoli and it was very active, okay? Everything was spanky clean and everything was working perfectly, okay? And then we have a little factory that creates the stem cells, okay? And it was very happy factory, and it was producing everything with beautiful buildings. We fast forward 10 years later, that factory is not working the same way. It started to get cracks, it needed renovation, the machinery wasn't as efficient as it before, and that's what's happening with the Stemzymes. Okay, as we age, the Stemzymes start to not produce as much, and the skin doesn't function the way it should be. Okay. Then he has to, when the metropolis was working properly, everything was flourishing, the supermarkets and the shops were full, but as the buildings started to break down, everybody started to leave the town. Okay? So he started to try to renovate that factory, so they got into there and they started to paint, they started to fix up the cracks and do so on, to be able to fix that factory to start to produce beautiful products again, and it started to attract new people to come into the building. So we're not talking about a building, we're talking about fibroblasts, melanocytes, keratinocytes, and Langerhans cells, and many of the stem cells that are sitting on the epidermis, so that's what we're stimulating. So when the epidermis is working, so your factory is working properly, you're not going to have any skin conditions. When the factory is malfunctioning, is when you have aging, you have acne, you got rosacea, you got pigmentation, and so on. Okay? So that's what this analogy that he has about the factory. And I think it's quite clever, because if I try to give you the science, it will be very difficult. Okay. So what he's saying is Stemzyme is an intelligent biomimicry-based approach that is not invasive. You're not going to have any rejection, and it's quite effective on stimulating the stem cells. Okay? So he's using an enzymatic approach to activate their own epidermis, to stimulate them and guide them to have different cells that live and they reside in the skin. And also it's working on that fascia that I was telling you about, okay? So some people will experience a faster cell turnover like acne, or it will have a slower cell turnover like what happens as we age. So it's very vital that we keep the oxygen and the circulation and the lymphatic system happening in this. Okay. So if we use plant stem cells, the plant stem cells don't actually mimic on the skin. They have a different biochemistry than human cells. Okay. If you use stem cells from babies, they're normally using the umbilical cord, okay, and they use microneedling. They can't keep them very alive for very long, and chemical exfoliations does not stimulate the Stemzyme activity. So what are we going to target with the Stemzyme? We're going to target lines and wrinkles, loss of firmness, and even skin color, texture down, enlarged pores, dry skin. And this is extremely good for people who is very reactive because we're reteaching the skin, okay? And when we're talking about keratinocytes, you remember I said to you they have a very specific way of communicating. So the 50 days process is because first we need to activate them, okay? Then we need to make sure that they can fully complete the cycle, that is called confirmation. And then we need to make sure that they're able to divide, that's the mitosis. And we need to make sure that we guide them so they become what they need to become. And then keep them alive and preserve them and keep them there. Okay? So that's what the 50 days process is. Okay? The other thing that he's being quite clever is when you look at the skin is an amazing machine, I tell you. The skin is probably one of it's actually the second most complicated organ on the body. The most complicated organ is the brain, the second one is the skin, okay? So you remember what I was saying to you about the valleys of the skin? They have a very tight junction, so the epidermis have to hold to the dermis like little pegs, and they need to keep that turgidity to keep the skin nice and bouncy. As we age, it doesn't happen. So they start to lose that, and they become saggy. So he's working on that, and that's why you start to see the firmness, and then he repositions the fiber process to easily even more. I'll show you the pictures because that's what he's going to talk about. So this is a lady who's gone through the process, and what I want you to look at is, can you see the reposition of the fiber process that I was telling you about? Okay, so they're very subtle changes, but you will be able to notice them. So this is what we take the before and after, because some people don't believe the changes, but it happens subtle. Okay? So you can see how it's more firm and lifted. Okay? And also you will notice that the labiofacial fold lines is not as deep. She needs another one because of the age group. Okay? And also I notice is the color is a lot more brighter and more even. Okay? And on the neck, I don't know if you can see it in there, the neck is also, the lines around the neck is actually changed. And if you see the chin, the texture on the chin is a lot more refined. And look underneath the eyes. Can you see that? Okay. This is another lady, and this is a bit more dramatic. So on the first picture, you can see that she's still quite reactive. She has redness on her skin, her capillaries are very weak, and the fact the process is making the skin look a bit more saggy and more not as bouncy. 50 days later, look at the difference, look at the neck. How that skin looks like she had just had a facelift. And what is amazing about this treatment is he's using serums to do that. He's not using any machines. So he's using your machine that is your body to do it. This is another one. You can actually see the glycation, the fine lines around the eye area, and you can see it on the neck has been revised. The pictures they're not taken in a very clear environment, so they're a bit fading. But if you look around the labiofacial fold and you look underneath the eyes, you see the difference in there and on the forehead. Okay. This is another one. Can you see the small changes on the skin?
So what's the brown spots on the right?
We can't work it out.
Oh,
This one came from America, and we cannot work out where those brown spots came from. So these ones that were done in America, the previous ones that were done in here. And Tara had one, and I will show you her pictures. Okay, this is a bit more dramatic. Can you see the texture on the skin? And this lady never had DMK treatments either. So it's not like she's been using DMK for a while. Around the eye area, you can see how the skin looks more brighter, more firmer. Okay? And we call it glycation, that's terms that we use in the skin. Can you see how it's very uneven and bumpy? And now it's more firm.
How many treatments would that have been?
50 days.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. Okay? This is a younger girl. Obviously, with somebody with young skin, you're not gonna see those dramatic changes. But it's all about keeping the skin as healthy as we can, as long as we can. Okay. There's another one. You can see the cheeks has more firm and tight, and she's only 32. Okay. This is me.
oh.
So that was before, and I have good skin. I look after my skin, and I look like I just had Botox. And I took those pictures. If I didn't take those pictures, I wouldn't say the line, but I took those. Okay? And my labiofacial fold ran around my nose. You can see the difference. And people is asking me if I have lost weight. I haven't lost weight. I weigh the same, but my face looks thinner because it's more firmer. Okay? This is the side. So my pigmentation has come down, and I haven't taken pictures since I finished my second treatment. And you can see how the skin looks more brighter. Another one here. You can see how it's more bounce underneath here. You can see it's more bounce in there, more firm. So this is what I say is like really a facelift. And you can actually see the difference in here. It has plumped up. And the eyes. Tara's ones they come in, I'm pretty sure for Tara one in here. That's Tara. Okay, and Tara has good skin. What I noticed on Tara, again, the fat deposits. Okay?
The fat deposits are significant.
Yeah. Because it's making that mattress nice and firm. Because he's not working on the surface, he's making sure that everything underneath it is supporting the house, so you can actually lift it. That's what he's doing. That's what I find the most amazing. I also notice around here, you see how he's repositioned that? He's lifted.
But is it lifting the sort of the cells of the, like we've got muscles in our face. So is it lifting you said that the fat deposits go right down to the bone.
Yep.
So you got the fat, the muscle on top. You got the bone, the fat, the muscle, and the
So
skin.
you got the fat,
Yeah.
and then the muscle, and it's something called fascia.
Ah, okay. So the muscle.
So
okay,
fascia is, you know when you have uncooked meat,
Yeah.
and then you stretch it, and then you get this like a stream
Mm-hmm.
that it comes of fat, that's
Right.
fascia. And the fascia is what it gives you that lift as well, okay? In the face, the fascia is not attached to the bone, it's attached to the muscle. So as we reposition the muscle and permit that muscle, it gives you that lift, okay? So if you stimulate, this is why I like my clipboard. In here, you have what is called fibroblast. Okay, so we call it the fibroblast, and the fibroblast is the one that stimulates collagen elasticity. So as he's releasing those babies, the babies they're going to become wherever that skin needs in there, but also will become wherever the skin needs in here, and wherever it needs in here. So it makes it nice and tight and firm, and that's where you're getting that lifting, because it's renovating that foundation. It's making it nice and strong like the other skin will have.
Well, that's like, as we said, like I notice as I'm aging, the skin drops there, like you get a double chin.
As we age, I'm gonna tell you a not really happy story. The fat deposits happen down here. The upper lip grows about 3 millimeters, and that's why you have that curve coming up here. The chin also digs in, so you don't have that curve anymore, it's not flat. That's part of aging. And then these ones, because it's not the support, it starts to come out this way. And that's just normal aging. It's gonna happen to all of us, but if we prevent it by keeping that foundation nice and firm, it just happens a lot slower. So chronologically, we don't have to age the same way that the number does. Does that make sense? We have a lot to do on how that skin is going to look. Because if you look after it, that skin will stay longer. It's like renovating a house. So if you update the house often, the house will always be up and going. If you let the house go, then you have to do a massive renovation to get it up and running. Does that make sense? So this is like small renovations that you're doing to keeping the house nice and firm and tight. Okay? So the muscle is over here. But because the skin, this is very thin, we're talking about even thinner than this. Okay? Because it's working on this area here to give you that nice bounce and straightening that area there. That's why you get the lift. Amazing, isn't it? I find it amazing. I might find it fascinating. And the more that I study it, I find it more fascinating. Especially that he's using stem cells that are sitting on the hair follicle. Who would have thought about it? Okay, who would have thought about it? It's a lot of companies using stem cells from umbilical cords. I don't know if I want to put that on my face. Okay? But it's from somebody else's, it's not your own. It's making your own skin to do your own stem cells and guide them through it. Okay? Not creating lots of kids and then telling them what they're going to become. Okay, I can go back here. And in Tara, what we noticed the most was the pores around her nose. Can you see that? The pores and the texture of the skin, that's what we noticed the most. Okay? And Tara only had one treatment. This is another lady. On the forehead, can you see how it's more lifted? And this is another one that the neck is where I noticed it the most. And you were talking about that little skin that is underneath the chin, that is sagging. You can actually see how it's a little bit more firmer. Based on her age group, I would say to have another one to keep it nice and healthy. Okay. I think that's another lady on the neck is what I noticed the most. And you can also see it. Okay. So everybody has different results because it depends on what your skin is doing. Okay. That's a neck one. And this is another neck. And that's the lady who just showed you the neck. Big difference on the skin, can you see it? Okay. But the subtle changes that if we didn't take the pictures, you wouldn't know. So what happens is it comes in a kit, so it comes in a full box, and that full box will have your 5 treatments in there, and it will have your home prescriptives. So your home prescriptives, you receive 7 products, and that's the products that you will use through the 50 days process. Okay? So you don't actually need to buy anything else apart of what is in there. Okay? So you have the serum, you get a cleanser, full size. You get serum 4 and 5, that is the ones that you use on those 72 hours after the treatment. And you're not allowed to go to wear any makeup, and you need to apply those products 3 times a day. Some people, when they put the serums, they feel like hot chili. Some people, you put it on and they feel nothing. Okay? It's because he's increasing what is called somatic and nerve endings. That is your medical cells and your nerve endings that I was showing you. He's activating those. That's why you feel the heat. That's why you feel like it's intense. Okay? And then after the 4 days, we go into serum 6 and 7. You apply that twice a day with your sunblock. If you want to put anything else on DMK, you put it on top of the serums. You don't have to. Okay? I didn't use anything else, and I don't think you're using anything else. No. It's only the serums, and we find that it's enough. Okay? and then you get an SPF 50. Okay, so it's very important that you stick to that. If you start to use any other products, we're not going to be able to keep the babies alive, and we can't differentiate the babies and guide them through that. Okay.
What are the capsules?
The capsules are your essential fatty acids
All right.
that we use for controlling the inflammation. And the thing is, the essential fatty acids helps you to maintain your telomeres healthy. Am I going too technical? No? Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. So when you have your nucleus, in your nucleus, you have your DNA. And your DNA looks a little bit like that. Okay? And in here is what is called telomeres. So every time that cell divides, this becomes a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller, and it gets to a point that is not homogeneous to replicate. Okay? So the EFAs actually increases that enzyme, think like shoelaces, the caps of the shoelaces, it keeps that in there. So if the cell replicates, it doesn't lose any memory. And that happens with aging. Okay? So the EFAs is increasing those telomere caps. It's called surgeons or surgeons. That is like an anti-aging ingredient that is in there, and that comes from the mercury seaweed that is harvested in Tasmania. And it's very good to increase your bone marrow, so increases your immune system, because some of these cells that we are stimulating, they're actually created on your bone marrow, and then they travel and they become something. Okay. What happens is it's more sensitive because we activate your nerve endings. Okay. So as we activate your nerve endings, you feel everything happen. That's why the serums feel hot. Okay. But yeah, you want to avoid sun. You don't want to go on sunbed. You don't want to go and sit in the coffee shop with the sun on your face, because we don't want to kill those babies. Okay, because sun is one of the things that it will kill the babies. Okay, so in those 3 days, don't go and sit on the sun. Okay, but because it's stimulating your nerve endings, that's why you feel a bit more the sun, a little bit more.
Is that just sun or hot showers or anything like that?
Only filtered with the sun. What about you? Did you filter with only the sun, isn't it? Just the sun. So when I was driving in the heat, I could feel it a bit more. I just put the air conditioner on my face, and that was it. And that was so only the first 3 days you feel it the most.
Okay.
But it's not because I'm making you photosensitive. It's because I'm activating your nerve endings. Okay? Nerve endings is what gives you the feel, the touch, the cold, the pain, and so on. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you have to be really diligent with your sunblock. And then you follow in treatments there on those days. Okay. And it just goes through. Okay, so normally people ask me, how often should I have the treatment? So if we find 65 plus, we recommend to have at least 3 to 4 times a year. Danae had 4. Danae is on his 80s. Okay. If you below 65, 1 to 2 times a year, so I have 2 because I'm over 50. If you're younger than that, once a year is enough. Okay. We recommend you on those 3 days not to go on the sauna, not to go sweating, not to put the body in a stress, because we want to make sure those stem cells stay alive. Okay. And no exercise, so no sweating on those 3 days only. After that, you're fine. Okay. Can you have LED? That can you have needling? Not during the treatment, because we don't want to influence the new babies. Okay. So during the treatment, no fake time to be applied on your skin either. Okay. And just avoid your sun exposure. Okay. It's not uncomfortable. You don't peel. You don't do it. It doesn't do anything like that. But you might feel a little bit dry. Okay. We're also thinking, can I use my other products? Yes, you can. After day 3, you use your serums and then you put your products on top. Okay. Can I do the 4 milliliter Exodem at home? Yes, you can. It should not be used while you're on the program, not during those 50 days. No exfoliation, no nothing on those 50 days. Okay. EFAs, we recommend you to take 4. Actually it says 2 in there, but it should be 4. Okay. If you have a lot of cuticle buildup, like really thickened skin, we recommend you to have some pre-treatments first before you embark onto the treatment. Okay. And any more questions?
Yeah, so
I'm just gonna turn the light on.
is it possible to read the science behind it somewhere?
In the brochure, I think on the brochure he mentions some of the science, but he's trying not to release too much of the science because he doesn't want people to copy his formulas. Especially at the moment, there are some people that is copying the formulas. So he did some genomic testing, so independent testing, and there were the results that they found. Okay, if you want more, I can give you an individual, but he's working with notch signalings, he's working with the cell membranes, the basal cell membrane. The notch signaling is the way how the stem cells communicate with each other. If the notch signaling is impaired or damaged, you get skin cancers. Okay, so he actually did someone that it was due to have skin cancers removed from the face. They did the treatment, and apparently she went to have a biopsy, and the doctor called an A saying what's happening here because they're not there. So because of the notch signaling influenced the cells around it, he actually brought it back to normal speed, and the carcinomas they went to the out. Okay, but we're not able to claim because then it's a lot of things that goes with it. But we're able to tell you like about it, like an adoptive. So he's influencing that, and he's working with Merkel cells, DOM cells, touch cells. Okay, he's working with fascia, and it's a lot more that I don't understand fully myself. I'm still learning it. It's a lot of science. I'm only a vegetarian because I'm not chemist, but he's quite clever. He's taking 5 years, 5.5 years to get it out, and he does a lot of testing outside. So he produces the products, and then he does lots of testing, and then he sends the results and do the testing individually, and that's when he launched it. He's about to launch a new treatment next year too. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, the stem cells are taken from a hair follicle.
So the stem cells are sitting on your hair follicle, yes?
Yeah, so is that then sent away, and then what comes back from that?
It will just keep producing the stem cells.
So that is sent away to a lab or something where they grow more cells from that, or what?
You can't grow skin stem cells. That technology is not there. Okay? So what he's doing, he's keeping them alive. Yeah. So when you have your hair follicle, it's a little bulge. It's because it's wet. And then you got your sebaceous gland sitting in there, and it comes. So when you look at it, the hair follicle is very deep into the skin. Okay? So when he's activating the skin with the serums is going to go and activate that incubator where the stem cells are, and then he's going to make them to create more. So he's going to make that to become more. You're not going to become more hairy either, because that's another question that I get. Because these stem cells, they're normally supposed to only help you to hair growth, to grow your hair. And these stem cells, they get activated when it's an injury to the skin. So they release the stem cells to go and heal the skin really fast. He's clever because now he's activating them, he's putting them into like a little bit of a shock, and he's going, you're not going to just do hair, you're going to become into other stem cells on the skin. That's the clever part. And this is why each person has different results, because it depends on what you genetically your skin needs. So it's not like you took the stem cells and sent them to the lab.
Yeah, it's just that like we don't have hair on our neck, or there's certain places on our
We
hair.
do. It's very
fine.
very fine.
Oh.
Every single centimeter or millimeter of your skin has a hair follicle, and the hair follicle is attached to your sebaceous glands. You just don't see it.
So I've never even had underarm hair.
Oh, you're lucky. You're lucky.
So I don't, I mean, there's not, so some of us just have more hair than others.
So yours might be really, really fine, that you don't actually see it.
Microscopic almost.
Yeah, microscopic. So every single person will have hair.
So,
Okay.
sorry to interrupt, but so if people have a little bit more hair on their face than others, does the reaction, is it differently because, I don't know? Okay.
Because he's controlling on the 3 days how those stem cells going to become. So it's like, okay kids, you're here now, go. But with the serums, he controls what they're going to do. You don't become any more hairier either. And if you have hair removal, like laces, you still got a Bosch apparatus with a stem cell sitting in there. They're just dormant.
Yeah.
And they're dormant to do hair. He's picking them up and saying, okay, I'm creating a wound on the skin, get out and heal. And then he's guiding them to become fibroblasts, melanocytes, Langerhans cells, keratinocytes, Merkel cells, nerve endings, fat deposits, and they also find that it reduces the sebum, so your sebum becomes better quality on an acne skin. Okay, and also when you age, this part here of the skin becomes thinner. Okay, so that it becomes thinner. So think of here like a big aquarium, and it has to have lots of water and diversity. As we get older, the aquarium starts to dry out, and then it starts to get thinner, and that's when everything goes out. That's unfortunate. When we're young, this is nice and turned. So when you pinch your skin and it pounces quite quickly, it's because this area is nice and firm. As we pinch and it takes time to come out, it's because this area is not dirty anymore. Does that answer your question? Yeah? So this is why is nobody in the market has actually done it. Okay? That's okay. Everybody's using umbilical cord cells or is using stem cells from plants, but the plant's stem cells doesn't have nothing to do with skin. They're different biologically. This is why when Tara says, oh, they got a new product and they're using stem cells from plants, and I go, okay, how did that work? It's totally different. So by stimulating your own is not rejection. But what they're doing now is actually they're using your own stem cells on your blood to create blood for you to infuse it. So you don't actually need an infusion from a stranger anymore. Dolly the sheep was created by stem cells. Okay? They're also looking at stem cells to regenerate liver, but they can take it from the liver, and the stem cells can only do liver cells. They can't take it from the liver and put it on your face because they're different stem cells. They can only produce liver stem cells. Okay? They're using the stem cells from the heart, but they can only use the stem cells from the heart to help the heart heal. But they can't grab it and put it on your skin. That's what I don't understand how they're using umbilical cords.
Because umbilical cords haven't got a defined genetic condition.
Well, that's what the stem cells are.
Yeah.
The stem cells is a kid that he doesn't know what it's going to become. As we grow, we become lawyers, doctors, and whatever, and that's what.
But these cells are already predestined to be some type of skin cell.
Correct.
If you were to put that into a liver, it wouldn't work.
No.
Yeah.
And that's what the clever part is. Because this only will produce skin cells. I think he's clever. Very clever. That's why he took 5.5 years, 7 years altogether. And he has invested a lot of money. And we literally just launched it in Australia 3 weeks ago. In America, they had it for a year already. We wanted to do some case studies ourselves to see what results we get. Yeah, I was sold on the first treatment. Yeah? So this one doesn't really have any contraindications in a way. So anybody can have it at any age. Obviously, some skins we needed more than another ones. And some people will want more than another ones. Does that make sense?
How we can remember all that?
Or we will give you, we will write it down for you. We will make sure that you get the information right. Okay? So when you decide to take the treatment on board, Tara will give you, she needs to book your treatments straight away. So the first treatment, and she needs to book 12, 24, 36, and 48. So every 2 weeks you're having an enzyme. Because the enzyme is going to supply the energy It's gonna remove toxins. It's gonna increase the mitochondrial activity to keep those cells happening. Otherwise, they die premature. So we're waking them up. We need to make sure that they go through the whole full cycle.
So because it's a Stemzyme treatment, it's obviously some sort of enzyme that he's been able to source or make. So is he using an enzyme from the stem cells to assist with the reproduction?
So enzymes are proteins.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's putting proteins on your skin, and enzymes are like a key and lock.
Yeah.
Okay, so one enzyme will have a specific substrate. So think like a pieces of a puzzle. One only will fit that side. Okay, so he doesn't put enzymes on the formula. He puts amino acids.
Okay, and
Okay,
then they create.
and then the amino acid
Yeah.
will find the match
Yeah.
to create that activity. So when the match comes in, we'll create a message, they will divide, and then we'll go and engage another one. So that's what is called the domino effect. Okay. Some skins might take a little bit longer to find the match. Some skins they find it quicker. Does that make sense? So it's not like he doesn't use enzymes as such in the formula. It's more proteins. Okay. And that's what people is trying to copy. His formula is saying, oh, enzyme therapy, yeah, but how is it working? Okay, so feeling tight doesn't mean that activated inside here.
So, but is he using proteins that are, I guess, like it's got to be a protein that's found in the body for the amino acid effect to work with the substrate and the.
Well, you got proteins that is called amylase. You got proteins that replace carbohydrates. You got lipase that replace another thing. So he's just making sure that the key and the enzyme finds together to create that.
I guess my question was, it's natural ones or it's
Yeah, he's
manufactured?
Only, no,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
only uses herbs.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Yeah,
answer.
that's okay.
The serums, they all smell different, and they're very potent smell of rejuvenate herbs.
Okay.
Each serum smells different. Okay, so he's only using rejuvenate herbs.
Okay.
So he actually joined ventures with a new doctor. It's called Dr. Laconde, and he's an rejuvenate doctor and a biochemist. Okay. That he works with engineering the skin, and that's how he come up with that formula, and that's why it took him so long. So lots of herbs. Some of the herbs I never heard about it in my life. Is that answering your
Yeah, so it's
question?
all natural. Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
natural.
Okay.
Daniel doesn't like to use synthesized. Yeah, he likes to use as much natural because he's trying to make this. He's mimicking what the skin actually do.
Yeah.
He's just putting what the skin needs. And if the skin is healthy and in a growing environment, the skin knows what to do with it. That's exactly what he does. Sorry, I didn't get
No,
it.
no, that's good.
This is my first night that I do this. I've been teaching the therapists. I'm teaching the therapists I have to go a lot more technical. I need to downgrade it so I can get that information without confusing people. Okay? So for tonight, you're going to receive a little goodie bag, and Tara has put information about the Stemzyme. And she's giving you a little bag in here that you're going to receive a small herbal mineral mist, a small Sebae that mimics your natural oils, and a cleanser. Okay, so that's a gift from Tara to you. And she has some chocolates. She also has an LED voucher in there as well. And this is, I might get Tara. And this is the offer that she's giving you for tonight. So remember that it's 5 treatments included in the program and it's 7 products included in the program. You don't need to ally anymore, but if you have products, you will use it after.
Use it after. But before I was a bit confused. You said day 3 you could use the serum. I was a bit confused.
So can you bring that back, please?
Yeah.
You can use that. Oh.
Yeah. So Kylie, what is gonna happen?
So I've saved something.
So what is gonna happen is, do you have a tissue that I can use because it's wet? Thank you. Because the pen doesn't work when it's wet. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna have, thank you. So you're gonna come in and you're gonna have you major treatment. So say the Stemzyme activates. So that's your first treatment, okay?
And activation.
And the activation. For the next 3 days, so it's not counting the day that you have the treatment, it's counting the day after. For day 1, 2, and 3, you use serum 3 and 4. Obviously you cleanse, you put those serums, and then you got your SPF. So for the next 3 days, you only use that, okay? On day 4 to day 50, you're going to use what is the serum 6 and 7, and then you can put any other products that you have from DMK.
Serum is what the vitamin B, the vitamin E.
It's different serums.
No, the syrup's in the
The serum in the package.
Yes.
Okay, okay, right, yeah.
So you use the serums on the package, and
Yeah.
then you can use any other products. The DMK products on top of it, and then you use your SPF.
Okay.
Okay, and that will last you for 50 days. Now these 2 serums will last you longer than 50 days. So serum, the empty bottles, this is the ones that Tara used on the skin. Okay, so serum 3 and 4, you're going to apply it 3 times during the day.
So you just put one layer on and then the
No,
next
you
layer?
need to use lots. So I was using 2 pumps in here and 2 pumps in here. You need to make sure that you use them and you finish them, because after the 3 days, they don't work anymore. They go on the bin.
Yeah.
Okay? So you really need to get that you really put the products on.
Are you
So-
mixing them together?
No, you just
Or you
put
just-
one on, put it on, and I actually wear underneath my eyes and my eyelids, and then 2 more pumps on my neck,
Mhm.
and then I open the other one and I did exactly the same.
Okay.
Some people feel hot like hot chilies.
What about your eyes? Is it
Right underneath.
No, but your eyes themselves, is it they don't like when it starts to heat up or whatever?
No, I didn't find it uncomfortable.
Any sensitive to the eyes?
I didn't, but if you do, you just put back. Okay? I was funny myself because I was hot.
Does it last a long time, the heat?
Maybe a minute.
Oh, that's
Ah,
A minute.
like a
You
hot
just-
flush.
Yeah, like a hot flash. Or you have you
More
felt
hot
quick
flashes,
feel?
more
Have you felt quick feel?
I will,
The quick feel?
yeah.
Yeah, you know how the quick feel feels really hot and then you need to fan. That's how it feels. Okay, for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Okay, and then it settles down. And the hot feeling is because he's activating the nerve endings. The nerve endings is what is going to get to the stem cell. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Come on, they start to divide. Wake up, wake up, wake up. That's what he's doing to them. And this is why you feel the sun more,
yeah, okay.
because the nerve endings they happen. Okay, so on those 3 days, you need to make sure that you use as much as you can of
Do you
this.
have to put the sunscreen on afterwards? You have to do it. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like
you
you got-
re-cleanse and then do it.
And the
Re-cleanse and
reason
do it.
being is because the stem cells get damaged and altered by heat. Okay? So if you're surrounded by sun, lights, mobile phone, you might kill the babies before they have the whole time to actually go through. Okay? So sun and heat is the worst thing for your baby stem cells. Okay? So you really need to put the sunblock. Midday, you wash it off, you put the serum, sunblock. Night time before you go to bed, you put your serums and sunblock. Oh, you don't need the sunblock at night time because you're going to sleep. Okay? And you repeat that for 3 days. Okay? Then after that, you go into serum 6 and 7, the Vita. And they smell different again. Okay? Some people feel them hot, some people feel nothing. I feel hot, and Esther feel nothing. Okay? That doesn't mean that it's not working, it's just different
Bodies.
bodies, different nerve endings.
Do they? Sorry. So do they have a longer life than
This
3 and 4?
one's the 12 months.
Okay.
Okay? So you probably, by the 50 day, you probably only use half of it.
Okay. So
So I continue using it.
you keep using it. Okay.
I continue using it until I finish it. Because otherwise, they go to waste.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I'm doing after my 50 days, I only use it at the night, and during the day, I'm using normal other DMK products. So they're gonna last me longer. Does that make sense? Now these serums, you cannot buy them singly. You have to buy them on the kit. So you can't just use that serum because it just doesn't work. Did she wash them? I think she did. No, she haven't. So you can smell them. They're really rejuvenate. So the guy that he's working with, he's actually Indian.
I have to ask, what happened to enzyme 5? So it's 3, 4, 6, and 7.
Oh, because it's actually 4 and 5. Thank you.
That's okay.
Enzyme serum 1, 2, and 3 is using the treatment.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And so they're quite potent smells.
Very. Do you want to have a whiff?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. It smells nice.
Very strong.
So you actually know that they're different, and this is what I was saying, they're very
My
adjuvantic.
dietitian.
But yet he's been very clever. And the pictures speak for themselves. Okay? So it's no rejection at all, and it's no contraindication at all. Okay? So during this process, you also want to be taking 4 EFAs a day, and that's what the EFAs are on the pack. Okay? So everything comes in a box. Tara will give you the home products, and she keeps the treatments in the clinic.
Is that the fish oil you're referring to?
So we don't use fish oil, we use maple seaweed.
I see, that's right, yeah.
So can I just ask, so obviously the second picture, it's more shiny because the pores are tighter, but does that also mean that the skin feels tight, or does it actually feel plump? So
It feels both.
Does it?
It
Okay.
feels tighter, firmer, and you just
But
feel.
not like tight when it's really dry.
No. You actually feel tight but firm, but juicy and firm.
Okay.
It's not like, juicy. It's like not like a dry sultana
Yeah.
that you feel dry and you flaky. No, this is feels like a plum sultana
Yeah, okay.
that is full of water and is lifted.
Okay.
That's literally what
Like
it
a
feels.
grape. That's
Yeah.
been water.
Yeah, that's it. But on the first 3 days, you might feel a little bit dry.
So difference between someone who doesn't have sensitive skin to someone who has very sensitive skin?
If you have sensitive skin or reactive skin, okay, I'm gonna go a bit technical here. In the skin, when the keratinocytes, when the cell is producing something, it produces keratin. The skin is made out of 80% of keratin, and it's called keratin folding. So the proteins, because everything in our body is made out of proteins is made up in amino acids. How the amino acids come together, so think of like the letters of the alphabet. When you put the letters together, it creates a word. The amino acids will be the same. So the way how those amino acids come together will create a particular protein. Okay? That protein will activate something. Okay? The protein is a three-dimensional structure, okay, that it has to fall in a specific way to create that protein. What happens when you have very reactive skin, the protein has folded the wrong way. And it has kept folding the wrong way for a long period of time, and it creates a very toxic environment for the cells around it, and anything that you put in your skin, you respond. Because your immune system is happy. Okay? So with this treatment, we're actually working on the protein folding. So he's guiding the proteins, it's called chaperones. He uses chaperones, so it's like the parents guiding the child so he doesn't do anything wrong. He's using the chaperones to refold those proteins so you have less reactivity. But in some skins, your skin can go a little bit cuckoo for 3 days because it's refolding those proteins so it comes back to what it's supposed to do. And after those 3 days, the skin settles down. And he activates this by using hot and cold. So he uses thermogenics and cryotherapy. So we put hot packs, cold packs, hot packs, cold packs, and we manage how that folding of the protein happens. Very clever man. Okay? So if you have the reactivities because you got too many meals for the proteins for a long period of time. So think of the protein. I'm going to go from here to my house. I put my GPS, but then suddenly I don't understand the GPS and I turn another 4. So now I'm going to take longer to get home, and that is already creating a curve. But instead of going that way, I'm going that way. So it's going to take me longer, and now it's already created a protein folding. Does that make sense? So we're trying to get them strained. And all this happens inside the cell. Inside the cell. That is the most amazing part. So the cell is a tiny thing that we don't even see it. Okay? And the protein folding, as the message is produced, I'm very sciencey, so if you're sciencey, I'll explain it. So the message is created, the DNA is being divided. That's okay.
Thank you.
Then you got what is called ER, that is, in here you have lots of amino acids just sitting in there. The RNA will come in and go, okay, you come with me because I need you, you come with me because I need you, you come with me because I need you, but they're not in order. So it's like recipes, it's picking up all the ingredients, and then it leaves and it goes into the Golgi's apparatus, and the Golgi's apparatus go, okay, you have to sit here, you sit over there, you come here. He puts them on order and then he sells them. So when we're talking about protein folding, we're talking about here, inside the cell. This is what it's like, blows my mind. If you're into science, this is amazing. You are into science, so you understand. But that's what is happening. I'm trying not to go too sciencey. When I teach this to the therapists, I really go sciencey and I can see them going white. I can see their eyes rolling and going, I can't get it. And I go, okay, pull back. If that makes sense? So if you might go a little bit reactive, you might come a little bit rushy. It will only be for a short period of time. Okay? Until we refold those proteins and then the reactivity stops to happen. So we actually had an account manager that he was taking the steroids internally because he was very rushy. His skin went crazy for about a week, and now his skin is beautiful, perfect, no more reaction, no more itchiness, nothing. Because we refolded those proteins on his skin. So that's your job now, Natalia.
Sorry, so
you can explain it, come up and I come out.
Okay. Alright. So we've gone through everything with her. So we've got some packages that we have on offer. So I'm just going to give it to you so you have one and just give one each. So one is with this treatment itself, which is the Stemzyme. Oh, sorry. With the Stemzyme. So it tells you here the total cost is 3,000. So the cost of the Stemzyme is 3,750. But for people who have come today, it's going to be a saving of $400. So it's going to be 3,350. And so it is the full package, all in-salon treatments and home care. So the price, what you have seen is from the 9th, which will be 3,750. So upfront, you pay 1,500 for the treatment, the package. It's non-refundable, so you need to go ahead with the package because that's where we get the packages for you. And then after that, there are 5 treatments in the salon. Every time you come in for the treatment, you pay 370. So within the 50 days, you pay 370 into 5. So that is how it comes to 3,350. And also, if you do purchase a package today, we have also an offer, the Better Than Water, which is 250.
So that's what you actually get it. So this is your kit. We will give you the home kit.
And we keep the rest
and we keep
in the salon.
Okay, because the rest is your treatment.
And the rest, so you will have, every box will have the client's name, it stays in the back, and then we use it only for you, that treatment. The reason we need to do that as well is so everything is from America, has a mark with that. So we know what you have used. If there's any problem, they know which batch to go through to and see it, because it's that whole set we will be using on you.
So that's the serums, the big serums, your cleanser, your sample of your EFAs, and this little box in here is the smaller serums that I'll show you. Okay? So that's literally what you're going to be using for 50 days. Okay? If you want to use more products, you will do it after day 4.
And the reason we offer this one is because it's a Better Than Water. I think most of you use Better Than Water. It's a fabulous product just to get the hydration. Better than water. You use that, yeah? Yes. Just to keep the hydration now. There's two other packages. So one is the Epifill package, which has Epifill facial. So that is when we do the facials using this range. So we do the facial, we finish off with this range, but then the normal facials, but with this. So which will have a Fibromax C upgrade and then 3 LED lights, which are free. So that is 1,170. So that one you pay $690 upfront, say today, and then after that $160 per treatment for 3 treatments. Then the offer 3 is, there is another one from DMK called an Express Bar, which are 45-minute facials. And so there are 3 45-minute facials, and we've written the ones we are having. It's a Brighten Up Fire and Ice Skin Boost, and that's $500. And we give you 3 Fibromax C upgrades with that, which is again valid.
So we put all these serums and we do cold packs, and then we put an enzyme on top of that. Okay, that's why when you see the pictures of the Stemzyme looks green, it's because the serums are green. And each serum is activating something on the skin, and then the enzyme goes and put all the blood supply, stimulates the mitochondria, removes the toxins, get everything going, and it starts to get those babies happening, and then you look after them for the next 3 days, and then you look after them for the next 45 days. I have to say like that because otherwise if I just say, come on kids,
I don't want to take any babies home.
yeah, you're gonna take them home and you're gonna look after them for 3 days really well for me, so they can keep multiplying and dividing. And then the next treatments, for the next 4 treatments, they're sitting in here.
And especially Penny, with all the problems that you normally have with your skin, this might be something that would change. It would be a game changer for your skin. Because she's had so many issues with her skin.
Yeah, she was saying
And
activity.
yes, there's a lot of stuff. So, and we can't get to the bottom of it. But you might find that this would be a game changer for you. Things would just work differently. And there is also that Ayurvedic background with that, with Dr. Lakhande. And what I found with these serums when I was putting them on was, I was feeling hot. So I would fan myself with the serums because I was telling Nilupe as well, because I'd written, when you were doing that treatment, we had to tell them exactly what we felt. And I said, yes, I was feeling hot, I was feeling the heat when I was putting them, but then I did not put any makeup on that 50 days. I just only used, because I wanted to see how it worked. So I only used what was given in the pack, nothing else.
She was my guinea pig. She was my guinea pig.
Because of the skin color. And
because
then
of the skin color, we wanted to see how it works in a darker skin color. So she was my guinea pig.
And then all of the things that I had, like on my nose, the pores, then my lip, which had got like, that muscle had pulled back and I could see that lifted.
She had a skin tag.
Skin tags. That was the main thing.
That's what I wanted. I want this
Skin tags. Because, but I must tell you, when I was doing it, the skin tags just erupted. They just came everywhere and then it just sort of lied down. And since March, I've not had a skin tag. And it's all just flattened.
So how far do you go down then when you
Up
do
to
it?
here.
Up to here. Like every DMK treatment, I go up
I've
to here.
got a lot of them.
So with my serums, I actually went a little bit more.
Actually, I was doing that too, because you have them for 3 days.
My
I was going up
serums,
to
I was
one.
going up here. I was going on my back. I was going a little bit more in there. So you can use them.
Especially the 3 days, that's what I did, because there's quite a lot. And I just went into half my boobs as well, like just putting it in there and just thinking, oh, let me just cover every area that I possibly can.
And
with the 3 days.
he's moving into this, he's creating more programs. Instead of just single products, he's creating programs to support the skin through the whole process. Like I said, it's a new treatment coming and that one is for pigment. So we might get it next year. So what you do at home is 70 to 80% of your results. So if you're diligent with your products, you get more results. And then when you come in, we push it a little bit with the treatments and we activate things, and then you make sure that you keep it up that way. And that's what we say, 4 to 6 weeks if you have good skin, just come on maintenance. And once a year, we get you to do a program because we need to kickstart everything, especially as we age, we need to keep it looking and maintaining. The house have to be working efficiently. Any other questions?
You'll tell us what to do, though.
Oh.
It just sounds confusing.
Yeah,
to me,
it's a lot of information that you
Yeah,
have
come
got
on.
today, but you can always come in. I'm always there to run through everything. But then today, what happens is you've got Lupe, who has far more information than me on this,
I've
because
been
that's what
studying
she's been.
this for 3 months.
Yes.
I've been breathing and reading and sleeping and having affairs with it because I spend more time with that computer and listening to Danae than my husband. So he thinks that I've been having an affair with Danae. But I was just wanted to understand the science. And when I understood the science, I went, oh my God, this is like out of the world. It is. It's pioneer. Nobody has done it. Nobody's gonna copy it for a long time.
No, because that's what Danae does.
Danae doesn't follow the trends, he makes them. So now just wait to see how many years it will take them to catch up to this. Like enzyme therapy took them 55 years, just started to catch up.
So anyway, thank you, Lupe. Please join me in giving her.
And if this action back, Tara talks to me very often. Okay, so if you're back, she will tell me how your skin is going, and it's something that it goes a different way, we will manage it.
And remember, I think all of you have had treatments with me. I take photographs all the time because photographs is evidence for me, and that is what Lupe comes. So she comes to see me every month, and we go through every single DMK treatment that I've done through the month. She goes through all the photographs to see where I'm going with treatments.
What can she change?
What I can
What she
change,
can
because it's
do.
another like a second opinion.
Yeah.
So we do that all the
I'm
time.
the second
That's-
doctor.
Yes. She's the second doctor.
But yeah, if you want to have more information, more in depth, happy to discuss it. But sometimes some information is way too much for some people, so I need to keep it simple.
And so, but you please come out, and then I will give you your little goodie bags, and if you want to purchase any of the products or any of the other products, just let me know, and also finish up some of that food.
I've been using DMK products for about 12 months now, maybe 14 months.
I've been using it for around about 3 years. 3 years? 3-4 years.
Yes, I've been using it for a while.
Really good, really insightful, educational.
Yes, and very well explained. I mean, like explained so that anybody would understand it.
I see Lupa's got an incredible knowledge of how the product actually works, which is really good. And I think if you can actually explain the science behind it and explain how it works at a molecular level, then it gives more sort of credibility to sort of clients to know that this isn't something that's just topical that's been sort of slapped on your face, but something that's actually working quite deep into your skin and will have long-lasting results. And that was really impressive. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah, really clear on what it does, the function of it, the process, everything is really neat and really clear.
The fact that it can actually retrain the cells that you've already got, that is incredible, isn't it? Yes. Well, it's definitely something we've never seen before because it is so new. No one's seen this before. This is breakthrough stuff. This is just really a game changer.
No, I haven't. And I mean, I used to use L'Occitane before I came to DMK, and I think it was because I just felt like getting older and I just need something that's probably more thorough on a molecular and a cellular level. And what attracted me to DMK as opposed to other products on the market is that the fact that it's natural. And I think that's an important thing because I think chemical-based products don't, they may work topically, but they don't work at a cellular level. So you look good because anyone who has a facial usually look good after a facial, but it's not a long-lasting effect. And I think having natural products, there's a lower risk of any sort of reaction happening. It's a much more long-lasting and it's more receptive to your body to be able to accept it.
So I've been using skincares, every kind of skincare since I was 14. So that's
40 years. So I found that DMK is the best. It really is a deep cleaner and gets right through as far as it can. And I found it's the best of all products because I found that other products, it actually just sits on the skin and it doesn't get down deeper. Where after you've had the DMK facial, you actually feel it clean. Your skin is glowing, the pores are tighter, and it's not toxic, and the range is fabulous, I found, and it's just really worth the money, and it's not that expensive when you think about it. It's good quality, it lasts a long time, so it's really worth your money to get the DMK brands.